Many of you joined here. I would say you had enough fortitude and enough caring to be here in the middle of challenges, difficulties, crisis, adversity we all are facing right now. My intention in this practice or this session is to be present in the middle of whatever arises. See if we can be really be present and show up, no matter how difficult emotion may arise. Let's practice being present. I would like to start with quiet sitting, always coming to this core of quietude. However, this quieting is not trying to isolate yourself from others or from what is, more like for the purpose of deeper connection to whatever arises, connection to the small campfire circle pilgrimage. Just take a moment to have a quiet sitting together. In whatever way you can come to center, core, the present moment. So each moment is arising and subsiding. These moments we are sharing right now are so precious and so beautiful. Why? Partially because they are temporarily, do not stay the same or do not stay differently. See if we can reflect or sense in a more somatic experience. What is it? How in the present I am experiencing what is fleeting, what is coming, and what is going, what is arising, and what is departing. As we sit together for a few minutes, perhaps starting from the small scale, a small slice of time, notice the presence which is arising, that which is departing. Perhaps breath cycle in a small scale, moment to moment, breath by breath, arising and disappearing. Just sense that sensation you experience, arising and departing. And the seasons in a little more longer slice of time. The summer is departing and the autumn is arising in this north hemisphere of the planet. Weather patterns, we just have a strong rainstorm, now sunshine, always changing, fleeting nature of phenomena. And those beautiful forests in Oregon, I used to love visit. We just visited this summer, thick forest, beautiful, now turned into ash. Many acres of the forest, land, houses, gone. Human lives, many human lives. About the COVID death rate, like almost 1 million human beings worldwide departed. Even in the US, 199,000 deaths, arising, departing. And all sentient beings arising and departing. How about your beloved ones? They were born and they are gone, passed away. Just to do your best to be present in your body. Allow your body somatic experience to go through this experience process. So now I want you to use the breath. So inhale to expand. In this is yogic breath. We are encouraged to practice all the way to the lower belly first. Inhale, then three-dimensionally expand. Not only forward, side way and back way, as if concentrically ripples going out. As you inhale, expand, and touch the neighbor's ripples, connect. Then exhale to again subside and come to the central channel from the lower belly, toning. Inhale, connect, touch, allow the ripple to go out. Then exhale, come to the center, confidence, touch the core of who and what you are. So everything is arising and dissolving. That's including yourself. Stay in the present, in your body, sensing. Then this question is, who is or what is witnessing all this? What is experiencing that which is arising, that which is departing? And be curious about that. Bring into your awareness this quality of open mind, quality of blue sky like awareness, not clinging, not grasping. Perhaps even you can sense this luminous quality, nature of your awareness in the midst of all the clouds coming and going. So see if you can hold both with tenderness. Sometimes it's difficult to hold both poles without a container, without a community like here, and without practice. It requires fortitude, requires energies, courage, fearlessness. So I'm hoping, or I'm believing in you here, because you want to do that. Instead of keeping whatever arises into the small closet within, you came here to metabolize whatever arises and transform, hopefully, into love, compassion, whatever need to be transformed into. Because these are metabolized, untransformed, unprocessed emotions, feelings, sorrows, greatly blocks our vitality and clear seeing, because that distorts our view. So while you are staying in that rather honest, authentic experience, I would like to open up today's session. Today is focusing on the Machik's 5 slogans, which are very famous. So many of you are here because of that. Maybe you heard about it or curious about, and or you want to bring this practice into your daily life and so forth. From our side, the reason why we want to share this practice with you is so relevant to what we are facing right now. Almost I feel like this kind of practice is a key or instrumental to really face what's going on right now. Machik Lapton, who is the 12th century courageous human yoginis who awakened into complete full awakefulness, what's possible. We are so inspired by her life itself, her journey itself, and her teaching and her traditions. This teaching, 5 slogan, is considered to be one of her teachings, traditions, which Machik Lapton shared or presented or founded in this world. And there are many ways to classify the Cho traditions. So one way to classify Cho tradition, I often explain or I often share if somebody asks, what is Cho, C-H-O-D or C-H-O umlaut? Then I said like external Cho, more physical expressions involved, practicing a specific practice, sadhana practice, and the chanting and the visualization, and also praying instrument. These are so-called physical or external cho, which is very beautiful, and we practice in our community. Also, lifestyle, wandering lifestyle of the cho practitioners, chopa. That is the external cho, which we are also inspired by. And the second one is I call internal cho. Internal means inside, more meditation, and does not involve or the playing a musical instrument or chanting. Internal cho is I call fierce tonren practice, taking and giving. I'm sure all of you are practitioners, so you know maybe I don't need to explain what tonren means. Then these 5 slogans of Maciej Clapton. This is the, I would say, tonren practice, basically core of tonren. Today I thought we're gonna practice tonren practice based on these each slogans, but I wanted to get the taste of it. So these 5 slogans. Basically, the last slogans go to the place that scares you, like a cemetery or channel ground. So that's the last one. So last one encompasses all other first, basically same thing, in different flavors, different way of saying, different kind of flavor, taste. So we have a lot of blind spot. We have a lot of dark closet. So need to go into the different direction or looking into the different ways to unveil all these dark closet. So that's why those 4 are there. But basically, this encouragement is welcoming the opening up the dark closet. Not only resting or the opening, go to those places, welcoming, willingly. That's that. So that's the second cho practice in cho. Then third cho I consider is resting in the true nature, maintain it, and become one with it. There are many names for that, Ripa or timeless awareness or Buddha nature. So that's a very simplest and the most profound cho practice. When we practice, all are combined, but in terms of explanations, I like to do this way, break into these 3 categories. Then today's focus is this second one, internal cho. So these are the 5 which were given by her teacher, Padampa Sangye. Padampa Sangye is the founder of the Shiche, or calming suffering, or calming difficulties traditions, Shiche traditions. What Maciej did was, Maciej went 1 step further than what Padampa Sangye presented. Padampa Sangye was presenting how to calm, how to transform the suffering. Then what Maciej did was go there, not waiting for the adversity to come up and then try to deal with it. Now go there directly to the channel ground. Go to that difficult part of yourself. Go to the place where really scare you. Go to your fear. Experience it directly. Very radical approach, which is actually we need in a sense that at this time of challenges and adversities. Okay, so maybe we should go one by one. It's actually quite literal. You can understand if you look at this. Confess or reveal your hidden faults. I wanted to actually really invite you to use the somatic processing when you hear confess or reveal your hidden faults. Of course, I can give commentary to what that reveal means, what hidden means, and what faults means. So these are Tibetan translation. Maybe we can do a little more experientially. What do you think when you hear the confess or reveal your hidden faults?
I think that it means to, one thing it means would be to be honest with yourself, to know your own mind, to
Mm,
not be in denial about your intentions, your motivations.
yeah.
So revealing to oneself, really.
Require the honesty. Mm. So when we hear like this, the fear manifesting as shame and guilt. I don't know about you, but this is confess your hidden faults. How about we're gonna go little by little, then just kind of feel the somatic reactivities or sensations. Then we're gonna go a little more detail, maybe, so that we have enough time. Faults with anything limits and what we regard as faults. In this number one, maybe we might like to do the forgiveness practice later. So let's just do a literal meaning commentary or what that means to each of us. Approach what you find repulsive. Approach what you found unpleasant or disagreeable or what you found not comfortable. What does that mean to you, each of you? Abiding in that. So this is about abiding in the fear, manifesting in aversion, without believing in it, in judgment, good or bad, or your opinions. We are training not to running away from repulsive weakness or whatever. What do you think, this one? Approach what you found repulsive.
For me, it's really not avoiding those spaces within me, and even the repulsive. As I feel into that word, it has such a almost a somatic presence in my body. It's like energetically, and even that is an opinion. You know what I mean? It's something. Really, this quality of even a judgment in that. So what I love about this one is sort of just cutting through that, just moving towards that which, whether it's the intensity of the emotion or some mental, block, but just feeling like opening that.
Yeah, I like the word, phrase called the bearing witness.
Bearing witness.
So without running away from it. So that's really involved the somatic thing that Dakinis whispers encouragement as well. Process, allow the body to process itself, like energy, strong energy. How do you feel? This, what do you find repulsive in your body?
Yes, I had a situation many years ago in which I was told to stay with my stepson while he had to do a very unpleasant chore of taking human excrement out of this fifth-wheeler trailer that we had purchased and take it to a place of bury on our new property. My husband had to leave, and it was very repulsive. That's the word really brings that up to me. And I did that. I couldn't lift anything, but I could be with him and witness, and just to be with him in it. And it was actually the most sacred experience I have ever had. When it was over with, it felt like going back to the ordinary, just the cleaning up afterwards. That was just ordinary. That was a real, all my barriers came down. The smell was so repulsive. It was beautiful. And it gave me a new idea of, what is sacredness? It can be really in the deepest places we're avoiding.
Nice example. Yeah. Can we move to the third one? This is about the fear manifesting in inadequacy or aversion. Help those you feel you cannot help. Sometimes translating help those you don't want to help. Help those you think you cannot help. Like a helplessness. Here I felt quite a bit, fires approaching very close. Then I remember the Jataka Tales story I used to read when I was a little kid. This little bird trying to help the forest fires. Buddha was born as a little pigeon. Then he witnessed the suffering of the forest fires. Then he really wanted to help. Then he drove into the lake. Then his wings are wet with dew. Then going, try to put the fire off. then again jump into the lake, then try to put off the fire, so forth, and back and forth, then completely exhausted. Then he was about to die. Then I kind of cried, oh my gosh. Then he was reborn as the Garuda. That's a Buddha's story. But anyway, I remember that then I felt this, how I can be present with this feeling of helplessness. What do you think this one? Help those you feel or you think you cannot help. Can you abide in the experience of helplessness? Inadequacy, even a resistance, whatever bring up to you.
You know, for me, when I read that and reflect on it, I think about never losing this vast aspiration to benefit all beings. It's so easy to, you know, help people that are close to you or that you like or that think like you or that need you. So, but this limitless potential that we have that's just a reminder to me to cultivate that in my heart. At least that's a beginning place internally.
Yeah, that's also, I felt this capacity we all have here. It's, you can say Buddha nature or awakened heart or our aspiration to help or serve. And also it's innate, but it can be cultivated. Actually, need to be cultivated, need to be unveiled fully. You said just good reminder, awakening bodhicitta, a bigger vision of being able to help those whom we don't think we can help or we don't want to help. We all have that capacity, no? That's why we're here, for nurturing, cultivating what we already have to the fullest manifestation.
It sounds to me like the kind of thing that we are being self-protected because we don't want to fail. We don't want to have that feeling of failure added to what we're being presented with.
Yeah, good. Then this practice is to resting, abiding in that sense of failing, sense of inadequacy or embarrassment of being failing, whatever arises. So we cannot avoid that one. These teachings are really pushing our buttons. And then beautiful thing is that apply it to anything. Anything can become your practice. Okay, then the number 4 is anything you are attached to, give that. So this is about grasping, no? Fear. All are fear-based. All these things are connecting to or touching the fear deep within. They manifest in many different forms. So this particular one is the fear manifesting as grasping, possessions, or not having enough, or losing, training in fearlessness. All these practices. What do you think this one? In a sense, nothing wrong with fear. I often talk about this one. Fear. Fear manifest, but then judgment of fear or the manipulation of the fear, that's the problem called fear of fear. See if we can abide the discomfort of fear by cultivating, in this case, generosity, cultivating path of giving. So this is the true practice. We give our body, which we most attached to.
I'm willing to share that I often have a hard time with commitment of extra time and energy to things. I work full time, run a household, and I often am very afraid that if I try to do anything extra, that'll all fall out of balance, and then I'll be struggling with, you know, just getting back to handling essentials and getting enough rest, especially as I get a little older. And it seems like my brain needs more rest just to maintain organization and concentration enough to do the fairly intense concentration I need for my work. So I often feel guilty about not doing more sort of social justice, helping those efforts, volunteering for things, reaching out to just do extra errands for a neighbor. I'm always calculating, and I don't just jump in and do it easily. It might be easier just to jump in and do some things.
Your experience. So this is not, in a sense, about the solution of our. I think the encouragement of Machik Padampa Sangye is how can we abide in if the sense of not feeling enough time or need more self-care, then how can I abide in that without any judgment and opinion or the fear over it? So that's the kind of practice presenting here. That's how I view. And the self-care, especially this practically speaking, is so important. That's the practice. Bring our own self-care, this time, challenging time, bring lots of acceptance and the courage to accept who am I right now, this point. I may not have enough time for certain things, but then encouragement is see if we can abide in that energy. Then what's happened? See through the true nature of that energy, discomfort. So then it's going to the ultimate teaching. So these are a combination of relative and ultimate teaching, but more focusing on the relative teachings, more relative phenomena, relative teaching. Ultimate teaching is ultimate truth, right? So abiding without any grasping, and resting in the true nature, like a blue sky. Okay, so anybody in this one, anything you are attached to, give that. Which one seems most challenging among all four? Something you have an emotional significance, like a picture of your beloved, or even think about it, your body, anything you attach to, your body. Give that. What does that feel like? Waves of strong energies.
I think that as far as all five of these being attached to things and the body and emotions is the hardest one. I haven't practiced for it.
Yeah, isn't challenging, isn't it?
Yes, things that are beautiful, things that have memories, to be one of these new age people who clear out their house and have one plant and stuff like that's not me. And yet it makes your life simpler, and it makes your life less worrisome. You don't have to worry about so much. If you're willing not to be attached to your body and your emotions, you really have cleaned house and can go on to other things.
Right, so let's practice one of these, don't you think? Really practice Tonglen using, I would choose, how about the first one? Confess or reveal your hidden faults. This is one way to look at it, about fear manifesting as a shame or guilt. Hidden means blind spot or not knowing, unconscious. And also I encourage to bring a sense of joy. That's a kind of intention behind this or this. So reveal means staying awake. Okay, don't go back to sleep. So cultivating a willingness to stay awake, alive, and alert. Very courageous act. Gentleness, but courageous. Make a friend with difficult part, hidden part of yourself. Faults means anything limits us. What we regard as faults. What we regard as faults, then we kind of freeze it or the activities, right? Okay, let's do the variation of Tonren, forgiveness practice, compassionate attending to fear manifesting as a shame and guilt. Just take a moment again. Come to the belly, breathe into your belly. I really encourage you to invite your body to this kind of meditation, energy. You have to connect with your energy, go through the somatic process as well. So now reflect on something you've done and regret. You wish you hadn't done something like that. So first, I want you to reflect on it and get in touch with that feeling. How does that feel like? Recently or past, long time ago, doesn't matter. I want you to get in touch with feeling, a sense of perhaps guilt or shame. Make it specific, okay? Then now I want you to visualize yourself standing in front of you. That the one who made you feel regret, made a mistake or fault. So part of you manifested in front of you, facing you. Okay, now we're gonna start breathing. Breathe that the feeling of yours. Let's start only yours. Then include all others eventually. Let's start a personal relationship. So breathe that the feeling of yours to your heart. So connect spaciousness of the whole being. I like to breathe into heart center, but at the same time, if you like, you can breathe into the entire body. Connect to the feeling, fear, manifesting as a guilt or shame, whatever might be. Then exhale. See if you can allow it to dissolve. Large space of open heart, open spaciousness, like a sky. Breathe into one big sky, open sky. Then let them dissolve. And perhaps send out forgiveness, kindness, a sense of release and relaxation. Inhale, connect that sense of whatever, something you've done, regret, touch that feeling into big spaciousness. And let them dissolve and send out the openness, a sense of spaciousness to yourself in whatever way you might like to feel the letting go, dissolving back to true nature, whatever way. Inhale, connect that feeling, invite feeling, and also around that feeling, suffering involved around that, pain. You feel a sense of forever, I'm doomed kind of sense. Okay, painful feeling. Connect with the energy. How does that feel, that energy in your body? In a sense, it's just energy. Open, unobstructed energies. Connect that. Then let go. Put down the burden, great burdens. Relax and open up. We are not doomed forever. We are made of love, sweetness. But then we have this. So we're just going to gently, this Tonren practice. Inhale, exhale. Send out the forgiveness if that works for you. Send out the relaxation. See if you can connect to this feeling of I'm something wrong, fundamentally wrong with me, kind of feeling. Then see if you can invite that energies allowed it to dissolve into open spaciousness of your awareness, and then send out relaxation, freedom. Okay, now I want you to rest in the end. Before we conclude this short Tonren meditation, I just want you to rest in that blue sky of your awareness. Immerse yourself in this experience. Okay, so with gratitude and appreciation for this short practice, and also opportunity to be able to practice together and see if we can come back to this little small campfire circle. And before we conclude, we have 2 minutes. If you'd like to share your experience, that'd be wonderful too. How was the practice? I hope you got the taste of it. All these lines are pointing out to the same place, same approach. Hopefully this is beneficial for each of us in our daily life. We are standing at a crucial point in the sense that the future planet or personal future depend on this kind of practice. That's how I see revolutionary contribution to the world, I think. Ecology, world, external and internal, all are mirroring each other. I don't see those as a separate thing. What's happening in the 5 element right now, upheaval, it's a 5 element internal upheaval. We need to pay attention. They are telling us, those rivers are telling us to pay attention. All the mountains and the earth are asking for our attention. Then we do. Now this is the time we really use this kind of practice to come to balance, pay attention with gentleness, as if mother with unconditional love approaching to the troubled child. How was the practice for you? Were you able to get the little taste of it?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I feel like everything that's happening around me is forcing me to look inside and pare down anything that doesn't serve, just release it and see what else is there that can come up and really be listened to, like you're saying. So thank you today. I really appreciate today.
How was the direct experience of your practice for you? Challenging? No?
It was very challenging for me at certain parts. Kanjala, I was very aware of just the resistance, kind of a bit of this internal quality I had. It just felt like the experience of the anxiety, the fear that manifested into sort of guilt or shame had such a quality to the energy. So it was my experience was kind of meeting that resistance. And I still feel like I'm in it, not the resistance so much, because I feel like the energy did shift with the forgiveness aspect and opening up into the broader expanse, but it still feels very much like it's unfolding. But I'm really grateful. It feels like I can just experience the shift in the energies, even in that, knowing that there's still, lots more to do.
Even often I said, even churning of it is worthwhile. We didn't come together to make things comfortable, by the way. It's too late. But Dharma practice is not about being comfortable or make things comfortable, convenient for ourselves. It's actually, on the contrary, very inconvenient. Then see if we can abide in that energy, abide in that whatever present to us.
For me, this was really useful as a place to kind of get hold of these slogans that seem so overwhelmingly impossible. And I hadn't really thought about kindly turning to my, my own self-compassion to break open enough to approach them. That's a new approach to these for me. I think I've looked at these as kind of a challenge to plunge into, but it doesn't work necessarily to do that. That doesn't come so easily, really. This seems like a way to more slide sideways into them with some ease.
Yeah, the recommendation is we go slow or small thing. Like for example, whatever you attach to give that one. Shantideva's recommendation is put one carrot from one hand to the other hand. Start like that. We cannot just go out really big scale. We're gonna start from with a small scale. And as you said, self-compassion is difficult. I know. That itself tells we have been avoiding, compassionate to something else but me. So we have been avoiding. Then this kind of slogans and approach teaching remind us that kind of blind spot. So it's a good practice in that sense. Mm-hmm.
Do you want us to continue going down the list, working with them by ourselves this week, or are we going to come back to that another time?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Go for it every moment. Maybe print this one out and put on the refrigerator or whatever. You notice how many buttons you have, how many blind spots you have. You started to realize. That's the beginning of these integrations I was talking about the previous session. We are here to destroy our habitual patterns. We go beyond the habitual patterns, go through habitual pattern, which is not real. It's a projection we created. Illusionary castle we created based on whatever belief system or inheritance or the social, cultural, socio-economical kind of structures. Those need to be destroyed. Joanna Macy, I brought up in the previous session, talked about that. That's the one we need to let go. So this is a real paradigm shift we all Dharma practitioners, spiritual practitioners need to face. Otherwise, the transformation becomes just mental and not so experiential. That's how I view. So keep working on it. Then we will come back sometime, hopefully.